One of these men belongs to an Air Force unit known as the Friendly Enemies. What is your name, please?
My name is Wes Fagen.
My name is Wes Fagen.
My name's Wes Fagen.
Only one of these men is the real Wes Fagen. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Gene Rayburn, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by Salem Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Good
Hi,
evening,
Bud.
Bud.
Oh, man, all that energy tonight. Wow-wee. Well, I'm sure you're all ready to go then, so would you kindly open up your envelope, take out your affidavit cards for the first time, and follow along as I read from mine. I, Wes Fagen, am a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force. My job is unique. I lead high-altitude jet bomber raids on major U.S. cities. The purpose of these fake bombings is to test our country's defenses against surprise attacks. In each target area, there is only one officer entrusted with the secret of when and where our strike will take place. At the last possible moment, that officer informs the defensive forces that our attack is not the real thing. We are the only pilots in the world who hope to be intercepted and shot down. We call ourselves the Friendly Enemies. Signed, Wes Fagen. Panel, these three gentlemen all call themselves, as you heard, the same name, Lieutenant Colonel Wes Fagen, Friendly Enemy, he refers to himself as. Let's start the questioning with the star of the Broadway hit Mary Mary, shall we? Tom Poston.
Oh, thank you, Bud. I'd like to ask number 3 if there's a possibility of this unusual thing happening where that one officer is unable or incapacitated in some way and he can't communicate that the attack is not the real thing. What happens then, number 3?
That's been thought of. There's a backup.
There's a backup?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Number 2, helicopters form a special part of the Air Force. Now, can you tell me the name of that unit?
No, I can't.
Number 1, where did you take your training?
I graduated from Kelly Field.
From Kelly Field. How many phases did you go through in your training, number 1?
Primary, basic, and advanced.
Thank you. What did...
Peggy.
Thank you. Number 2, what do you hit the cities with?
Well, we don't have bombs, obviously. We have simulated radar-type bombs. It's an electronic method of determining whether hits are made or not.
Thank you. Well, number 1, what do they hit you with when they shoot you down?
Well, actually, they don't shoot us down. They just have electronic tape that records their actions.
I see. Well, number 3, how do you know that, how do the people on the ground know, like, that if you did hit the oil well or whatever you're supposed to hit?
We have referees who monitor the radar controls.
Oh. Well, listen, number 2, what's a backup?
A backup is the officer who has the information about the sneak attack, and he will use this information in the event that the original eyes-only officer is incapacitated for some reason or other.
Thank you.
Gene Rayburn.
Pretty exciting job these gentlemen have, or
so.
one of them has anyway. Number 3, what do the initials LORAN, Loran, stand for?
Long-range navigation. I forget.
Thank you, number 3. Number 2, express Mach 1 in miles per hour, please.
Mach 1 is equivalent to the speed of sound.
In miles per hour, can you tell me how fast that is?
This would depend upon the density of the air at the time.
At
roughly
60
600 and some miles an hour.
Thank you. Number...
Kitty.
Number 2, what is eyes only?
Eyes only refers to the officer who is permitted to see these secret instructions about an attack.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
The one guy.
Number 1, is there any recourse from the referee?
I'm afraid I didn't.
Well, I mean, number
understand it.
3 said there was a referee to tell you whether you'd hit it or not. Supposing you don't agree with the referee.
Well, I'm afraid we're shot down all of the time.
Number 2, what is Curtis LeMay the head of?
He's the Chief of Staff of the Air Force.
Number 3, what is SAG, S-A-G?
It's SAGE. That's semi-automatic ground environmental.
Number 1, what is the dew line?
It's a radar network across the northern part of this continent.
And that's all the time we have. That's certainly given you a lot of information as to which the real one is, hasn't it?
Period.
Well, you have to do it. You have to mark your ballots right now, at once, without change, if you will, please. Of course, no consultation is permitted while voting. So vote now for number 1, for number 2, or for number 3. Team of challengers will be awarded $250 for every incorrect vote.
Which one of those guys is Eenie?
All right, all ballots marked, are they? Very well, Tom, we start with you as usual. For whom did you vote?
Gee, they were just brilliant. I voted for Eenie because he reminds me of a pal of mine, Earl Jackson, that we used to call Rock. And he looks a little bit like Rock did when we were flying together over in the ETO, so I voted for him. Is that a dumb enough reason?
Peggy, what is your choice?
I voted for Meanie. Because he knew all about the density of the air and the speed of sound, and that sounds very good to me. I don't know anything about it myself, but Meanie did.
Gene Rayburn.
I voted for Eenie, too. Number 2, I would venture right now a guess that all 3 of them are pilots or are allied with flying in some way, and they're certainly knowledgeable. The reason I voted for number 1 is he gave the answer of primary, basic, and advanced very glibly and quickly, and those are the first steps in learning to fly.
Kitty.
I voted for number 1, and you know, Bud, I rarely haven't got a reason. That's a double negative, but anyway.
It's all right.
I generally have a good reason. I got no reason.
I like that. I got no reason. All right, so there we go now, onward and upward, as we learn, as the truth stares us in the face, which one of these gentlemen actually is the friendly enemy, as he calls himself. Will the real Wes Fagen please stand up? Well, I'm afraid we face a smart panel, although I have to admit each one quite honestly admitted that they really didn't know. They were more or less guessing, so you can take some satisfaction out of that, even though it's not monetary. And our congratulations to you. We're mighty proud that we have guys like you working for this country, believe me. Thank you. Number 2, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Robert McCall, and I'm an artist.
And number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Salvatore J. Camp, and I'm an attorney for the Waterfront Commission of New York Harbor.
Well, our thanks to you, gentlemen. As I say, monetarily it may not have been quite so rewarding, but you rewarded us with a very exciting and very pleasant evening. We hope that we at least rewarded you in the same kind and the same amount. In other words, hope you had a good time. $250 do come your way from Salem Cigarettes for the 1 incorrect vote, as well as a carton of Salem's on your way out. And our thanks again. Good night, and God bless you. Now it's time for you to take a refresher course in springtime freshness. Only takes a minute. Meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Joy Freeman. My name is Joy Freeman. My name is Joy Freeman.
Will you follow along with your next copies of affidavits, the copies of which I will read the original now. I, Joy Freeman, am manager of Nature's Haven, the world's largest supplier of wild animals for use in motion pictures and television. My job is not only to train these animals, but also to act as a stuntwoman and double for Hollywood stars. I have worked with small animals like monkeys and large ones like camels and elephants. I have fought with lions, wrestled with alligators, and once played a scene with a 10-foot python coiled around my neck. For my work with a turkey named Owasso, I was given an Oscar of the animal entertainment world. The trophy is called the Patsy. Signed, Joy Freeman. Very well, panel. These three ladies all claim to be Joy Freeman, wild animal trainer, and sometimes double. Let's start the cross-examination with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you. Number 3, what union do you belong to?
The Screen Actors Guild.
Thank you. Number 1, who is Rudd Weatherwax?
He trained Lassie.
Number 2, who is Jean DeTroy?
He was a writer.
Thank you. Number 3, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 1, what kind of a picture was Owasso the star of?
All Hands on Deck, Betty Hackett.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. Thank you. Number 3, I once worked with a camel. In your opinion, a camel's nice to work with?
I think so.
Number 1, are you crazy to work with camels?
They're lively.
Yeah. Number 2, have you ever worked with chimps?
Oh, your one question.
Gene Rayburn.
I was wondering when she was going to get to that area, the animal she knows so well. What was the name, number 2, what was the name of the animal that Peggy Cass worked with in her TV series? Do you happen to know?
The Marquise thing.
Marquise?
Yes.
Number 3, how often do you feed a python?
Oh, every week or so.
Every week? Number 1, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Once a week. Where did the, number 1, the name Patsy originate?
Patsy? It
Yes.
makes up several letters, which I don't know.
I see. Number 2, what is Owasso? What does that mean?
Well, that was a boyfriend of mine, really. No, but that's a turkey, really. And I
Your
trained
boyfriend
him.
was a turkey?
No, he just gobbled a lot.
I see.
Kitty.
Number 1, can you tell me the difference between a camel and a dromedary?
Dromedary?
Yes.
2 humps.
Dromedary, 2 humps. Camel, 1 hump.
Yes.
Number 2, what did you do with this Owasso that was so extraordinary that got you the Patsy?
I trained him, believe it or not.
What could he do when he was trained?
I
Huh? Number 3, could you tell me?
Oh, he did everything he was supposed to do.
Well, number 2, there must have been more to it than that. Can you tell me one thing he did?
No, can't tell you now because we have to go on to Tom Poston.
Yeah,
Tom?
go, Tom, go.
At number 3, I'm going to be working in Monterey in July. Where's Monterey?
I believe it's in Northern California.
Thank you. Number 2, what did your boyfriend, Owasso, did you have him trained at all?
Excuse me.
Did you say you had a boyfriend named Owasso?
Well, I did, really.
All right, Chuckles. Number 3, camels can be dangerous. Would you tell us how?
Oh, they kick.
It all depends on whether or not they're a dromedary. Now, let's get to the business of marking your ballots, if you will, please. Mark them at once because there's no further time to question. And, of course, mark them without change and no consultation as you vote for number 1, or for number 2, or, if you wish, for number 3. All ballots marked? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I didn't even vote. How do you like that?
Oh, I thought you did. I asked if all ballots were
Well,
marked, and you all sort of
I'll
nodded,
vote.
so I assumed.
No one else had said anything.
For whom?
I voted for number Z there, or 12.
Z. Number 3?
Number 3. And,
Why, Tom?
well,
Thank you, Tom.
all I can tell you is that dromedaries don't have 2 humps.
They don't?
do too.
Camels have 2 humps.
Oh, no.
Can I vote?
You can't change. You can't change.
I want to vote.
The other way around. I think you were right, Kitty. Peggy.
I voted for number 1 because Jean DeTroy is not a writer. He's an animal trainer. He trains the chimps. Oh. So that's why I voted for number 1. Even though she's very slight, I believe she wrestled with that python.
Gee. I voted for number 2 because both number 3 and number 1 said a python is fed every week, and I don't think they are. Are they?
Yeah.
They are?
Well, now, there's 1, 2, and 3 voted for, and with which one are you siding,
I
Kitty?
voted for number 1. because I didn't think that Mr. Troy was a writer. And number one, he agreed with me about the difference between a dromedary and a camel. And I had a feeling that she was more with the animals than the other two. And also, I know why. A camel is dangerous because it not only will bite, but it spits.
That's right. And they snap.
How about that? All right, well, let's get to the truth right now, shall we? And find out whether you're right or wrong with this split-up, high, wide, and handsome vote here. And let's learn immediately which one of these ladies actually is the wild animal trainer. Will the real Joy Freeman please stand up? Tom got the right one. Thank you very much. Thank you. You may be seated. Number one, what is your real name? You got most of the votes, and what do you really do?
My name is Donna Percy, and I'm a secretary.
And number two, you had the best time. What is your real name, and what do you do?
Well, my name is June McCall, and I'm a corset model.
We're not going to ask her what a Wasso does. We checked the score and find that there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. No, 3 incorrect votes, I beg your pardon. At $250 each, that's $750, ladies. That's a well-paying evening's visit, isn't it? That comes to you, of course, from Salem Cigarettes, as well as the gift carton of Salem's Only Way Out, and we thank you very much for being with us. Well, I haven't got much time. It's got to be quick.
I just want to know, number 3, why did you say Jean Detroit was a writer?
I don't know who he is. I said that.
And then I asked her if she agreed, and she said yes.
How many humps on a camel, number 3?
Number 2 said it was. I'm afraid you're wasting time now on that we don't have. So good night to you, and thank you, and God bless you. Now I think it's about time for us all to enjoy some refreshment. Are you ready to watch 2 people in love in the springtime? Meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Major Riddle.
My name is Major Riddle.
My name is Major Riddle.
And again, panel, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Major Riddle, have been a gambler all my life. I am now an executive for one of the hotels on the famous Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. To help out the average man who visits Las Vegas, I have just written a book entitled The Weekend Gambler's Handbook. In it, I explain which are the games with the best odds and which are the sucker games. I also lay down some hard and fast rules on gambling in general. They include: start with small bets, set a limit on how much you can lose, and increase your bets if you are winning. The most important thing to remember is this: when your luck is running bad, quit cold. Signed, Major Riddle. Very well, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Major Riddle, an authority on gambling. And may we start with the host of the match game, Gene Rayburn.
Okay, Bud, thank you. Number 2, if I put 1 chip, let's say it's worth $1, on every number on a roulette table, including 0 and 00, how many chips would I have expended or used up?
38.
38. And if one of those numbers won, how many chips would be returned to me?
35.
Can't win, can I?
No, sir.
Number 3, do you have a rule on how to win at poker?
Not really.
Is there any way to win at poker?
Oh, I've seen any number of winners, but I know of no specific rules.
Number 1, is there any way to win consistently in any of the games that come within your domain?
No, that's not possible to win consistently, but you can win occasionally.
Now, what are the odds against you in shooting dice?
The odds against you in shooting dice are, well, a 7 will come up 6 times to 1.
Thank
Kitty.
you.
Number 2, which is the game that you consider gives the sucker the most even break?
Well, there are several games that are rather close. I would say craps.
Thank you. Number 3, do you know a French game called 30-40? Number 3?
Yes.
How is it played?
I
With
think
cards or dice?
cards.
Thank you. Number 2, does every place in... who runs the Sands Hotel, by the way, number 2?
Mr. Carl Cohen.
Number 3, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Number 1, if you were going to play...
Tom Poston.
Oh, it's my turn. Thank you. Number 2, what is a cold deck? What does it mean when somebody says they're employing a cold deck in a game?
Which
number? Number 2.
Well, a cold deck is a deck that you might say is stacked, stacked against the player.
Thank you. Number 3, can dice be stacked?
Yes, they can.
How do you prevent this from happening?
Well, they are very closely examined with micrometers, for one, is one method.
Peggy.
Thank you. Number 1, who's Charlie Candell?
Johnny Candell?
Charlie Candell.
Charlie Candell owns the El Rancho Vegas.
Thank you. Number 2, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank you. Number 2, what are the odds on a hard 8?
Well, the odds on a hard 8 would be, if you placed it, would be 7 to 6.
And what are the odds on a hard 6?
Same thing.
That's all the time we have. So what are the odds on your guessing the right one, panel? Try anyway, if you will, please. And on the information you have gained, vote for, without consultation, number 1, number 2, or number 3. Are all ballots marked now? Everybody? Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2. I thought his answers were very good, very concise. I didn't find any discrepancies there, and I did in a couple of the other fellows. And there are only 3.
Well, I bet on number 2 as well, because Charlie Candell is with the Sands, and those odds on the hard 8 and the hard 6 were right if you bet them.
Oh, no.
Gee.
Based on what Peggy said, I'm all wrong, because I thought a cold deck was a deck that wasn't especially good for you or that you weren't doing well with. I didn't think it was a stacked deck. I thought somebody named Trotter. Oh, so the Cohen answer was right, then I'm wrong. But that's the way it goes.
Kitty.
Well, I'm wrong all the way down the line. What I don't know about gambling would it fill an encyclopedia.
Me too.
And I don't believe anybody gets anything for nothing in this world, so I'm not terribly interested. And I was sold on number 1 because he comes from Las Vegas and he has a sunburn. I should have known that a gambler would be indoors all the time, so it's got to be number 2.
All right. With those odds and with a cold deck staring us in the face, let's go for it and see who's right, who's wrong, as we learn which of these gentlemen actually is the authority on gambling. Will the real Major Riddle please stand up?
Oh!
Thank you very much, Mr. Riddle. Thank you, sir. Just for the record, is Major a real first name?
That is.
That is actually your first name,
Yes.
Major Riddle. He is the president of the Dunes Hotel in Las Vegas. And the co-author of the Weekend Gambler's Handbook that he wrote is the well-known Hollywood columnist Joe Hyams, who shared in the honors with him. Let's find out about his 2 sidekicks here. Now, number 1, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My real name is Arthur Desatnik, and I'm the president of the Desatnik Insurance Brokerage Company.
Number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Bernard Steinman. I'm president of the Mueller Steam Specialty Company. We're manufacturers of valves and strainers.
Well, our thanks to you, gentlemen, for giving us a good game, and you gave the panel a good tussle, because a 50% victory over them is a good one. They are a tough panel to beat, believe me. So that means there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Salem Cigarettes, as well, of course, as a carton of Salem's on your way out. And along with you goes our sincere thanks, and God bless you. Fun, and you're the greatest bunch of gamblers I ever saw.
Not me.
Wowee. I tell you, I'm going to be afraid to face you if the odds are any other way than the way they've been right along. Thank you for everything. You're such a joy always.
Good night, sir.
That's all we have time for. May I say this to you? Good intentions do not save lives. Seatbelts do. Don't delay. Seatbelts save lives in your car, not in the store. Good night to you, panel. Good night to all of you. And don't forget to join us the same time next week, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime version of our show. In the meantime, speaking for Salem Cigarettes, good night to you, and let me remind you once again to tell the truth.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Salem, the cigarette that refreshes your taste. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.